Get ready. Start. The High Court is entitled to satisfy itself as to the correctness or legality or propriety of any decision or order impugned before it as indicated above. However, to satisfy itself to the regularity, correctness, legality, or propriety of the impugned decision or the order, the High Court shall not exercise its power as an appellate power to reappreciate or reassess the evidence for coming to a different finding of the facts. Revisional power is not and cannot be equated with the power of reconsideration of all questions of fact as a court of first appeal, where the High Court is required to be satisfied that the decision is according to law. It may examine whether the order impugned before it suffers from procedural illegality or irregularity. We thus approve the view of this court in Rukmani as noted by us. The decision of this court in Ramdas must be read as explained above. The reference is answered accordingly. The civil appeals and the special leave petitions shall now be posted before the regular benches for decision in light of the above. In the facts of the present case, when the appellate authority relied upon the Commissioner's report stating that there are 36 rooms in the building and that the majority of the rooms are let out, showing that some of the rooms in the occupation of the landlord are lying vacant, it cannot be said that there is any perversity in this finding of fact. Even assuming that the High Court is correct in its construction of Section 11 of the Kerala Rent Control Act, stating that vacant rooms in other buildings cannot be looked at, this finding of fact of the appellate authority puts paid to any bona fide requirement of additional accommodation of the landlord in the facts of the present case. The reliance upon the building tax assessment register by the appellate authority showing that some of the rooms belonging to the landlord were lying vacant again is a finding of fact which cannot be interfered with in the manner done by the High Court. Further, the finding that a room leased by the mother-in-law of the tenant in another building is not in the tenant's possession only because he had his mother-in-law's permission to store goods on a temporary basis would also show that he cannot be considered to be in possession of the said room. Interfering with this finding of fact again without any perversity or misappreciation of evidence by the appellate authority would clearly be outside the High Court's ken in its revisional jurisdiction. Equally, the finding of comparative hardship, which is finding of fact not otherwise found to be perverse, cannot be upset in the manner done in the present case by the High Court. The learned counsel for the respondent, however, relied upon the judgment of this court in Badri Narayan. This was a case which arose under the Bombay Rents, Hotel and Lodging House Rates Control Act 1947, Section 13, under bracket 2 of which states as no decree for eviction shall be passed on the ground specified in clause G of subsection 1, if the court is satisfied that having regard to all the circumstances of the case, including the question whether other reasonable accommodation is available for the landlord or the tenant, greater hardship would be caused by passing a decree than by refusing to pass it. Where the court is satisfied that no hardship would be caused either to the tenant or to the landlord by passing the decree in respect of a part of the premises, the court shall pass the decree in respect of such part only. The finding of fact arrived at by the appellate authority and sustained by the High Court as to bona fide requirement of the landlord in that case was upheld by the Supreme Court. The only question that the Supreme Court was called upon to decide is the exercise of discretion under section 13(2) of the Bombay Rent Act so far as partial eviction is concerned. Paragraph 10, strongly relied upon by learned counsel for the respondent, is in the context of a partial eviction being ordered, in which this court stated it is expected of the parties to raise necessary pleadings and the court to frame an issue based on the pleadings so as to enable parties to adduce evidence and bring on record such relevant material as would enable the court forming an opinion on the issue as to comparative hardship and consistently with such finding whether a partial eviction would meet the ends of justice. Even if no issue has been framed, the court may discharge its duty by taking into consideration such material as may be available on record. Paragraph 13 was then relied upon, which dealt with an English judgment in Piper v. Harvey, in which it was found on the evidence adduced in that case that the comparative hardship issue would have to be decided against the tenant after going into the facts. Stop.